Hi, welcome to Little Bit Simple Life. Today I'm making a creamy chicken spaghetti. Okay, I'm adding a couple tablespoons of olive oil in my frying pan, and I cut the temperature on a medium temperature. Next, I'm gonna cut up 2 pounds of chicken breast into bite-sized pieces, and you want to get the boneless, skinless chicken breast because it's a little easier to work with. I already washed my chicken breast thoroughly with lemon juice and water and patted it dry. This little fat that's still left on there that I didn't pull off, that's fine. That helps with the flavor. I probably should have had this cut up off camera. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to make sure they're not cut too large. Now I'm adding the chicken breasts to the oil. Make sure your oil is hot. Not too hot, but not on high, but maybe on a medium. I like to clean as I cook. And now I have my water on high, boiling for the pasta. Make sure you salt your water real good. Um, so your pasta will have some type of flavor to it. No need to add oil to the water. Remember, oil and water doesn't mix. All you need is just salted water and add your pasta. And I'm adding 16 ounces of pasta. Maybe about 14 ounces of pasta is what I'm adding. You're supposed to cook it until it's al dente, which means it needs to cook for 9 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer on my stove for 9 minutes. I'm doubling this recipe because I'm taking some to my mom and some we're going to have for dinner tonight. Now back to cooking the chicken breasts. I'm adding a little bit of Himalayan salt, just a little, and some black cracked pepper. I'm taking out some pasta water because sometimes when you're making chicken spaghetti, when you're making the sauce, it gets really, really thick, and you may need to thin it out. So it's best to thin it out with a little bit of the pasta water so you can take some out and put it to the side just in case you might need it. And then once in a while, give it a nice stir. At the side, I might need a little more pasta water, so I'm taking some more out just in case I need it. I cut my timer off because it already cooked for 9 minutes. So I'm getting ready to pour it out into my colander. When I pour it out, I'm going to rinse the spaghetti with some cold water to stop it from cooking. Okay, now back to the chicken breast. Um, Next, I'm going to be adding a medium finely chopped onion. The chicken is not fully done yet. The recipe also calls for 2 garlic cloves minced. My mom doesn't like garlic, so I'm not adding any garlic today. The chicken is almost done. I'm cooking the onions until they're translucent. Next, I'm adding some Italian seasoning. Um, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and I make my own Italian seasoning. I'll include the recipe in the description box below. I'm turning my stove down to a low, from a medium to low for the next few steps. So my pan will start cooling off a little bit. I'm adding 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. Remember, I am doubling this recipe. I'm getting every bit out of these cans. I'm not wasting my money. I'm going to give it a good mix. Now I'm adding some chicken broth. I'm adding 2 cups of chicken broth. And also 1 cup of sour cream. Give this a good mix. I'm also adding some parsley And I'm adding the parsley because I like to see green in my food. There's no green showing, so the parsley's not going to do a whole lot for it. But I like seeing, especially since it's dried parsley, but I like seeing parsley in my spaghetti and things like that. So, especially when it's chicken spaghetti. I'm making sure there's no lumps in it. I'm giving it a real good whisk with my whisk. Now it's cutting down the temperature a little bit lower. I'm adding just a little bit more black cracked pepper. I'm testing the pot to see whether or not it's cooled down a little bit. And it has cooled down, so I can get ready to start adding my cheese. Now I'm adding my cheese. Make sure before you add your cheese to sauces that your pot is on low, because if not, your cheese will separate, and which means that you have an oily type cheese. So it's best to make sure you add your cheese to your pot when your pot is cool or cooler, because adding cheese to a hot pot will make the cheese separate and become very oily. And also, I grate my own cheese. It's better to buy the block cheese and grate your own cheese than to buy that shredded cheese. They have something on that shredded cheese to keep it from sticking together, which also interferes sometimes with the melting of your cheese. And it also tastes better to use the block cheese and just grate it yourself. I put about a 1 3/4 cup of cheese into the sauce. I'm saving the other fourth of cheese just to add to the top of it for like a garnishment. It'll soon melt anyway. Next, I'm adding my pasta. A little at a time. When I boil my pasta, especially spaghetti, I always break it in half before I put it in the pot to boil. Just a habit that I always do. The pasta will eventually thicken a little bit. Or should I say the pasta sauce will eventually thicken a little bit. Now sprinkle the other fourth of a cup of cheese on top of the pasta. Just for like a little garnishment. Let it sit on top. It'll eventually melt too on top of it. And I like a little black cracked pepper on top of mine as well. That's what it looks like, the final product, when it's thickened up a little bit. I took my mom some out, and then I added a can of rotel to the spaghetti. My mother can't eat tomatoes, so I couldn't add it to hers. But the rotel adds a better flavor to it to me. It really takes it up a notch. My family loves it with the rotel in it. So tonight we're having chicken spaghetti and a garden salad. I'll also include the recipe in the description below. Thank you.